What's going on, car guys and car gals? This is Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
This is Fred Lenartz, the subprime hero.
And we are excited to be brewing solutions with you this morning. We have a very, very special guest, a winner of to be a guest on our show, somebody that won the chance to be on our show by putting an entry in. So excited that we have him in here. This is kind of, still history for us because we're still getting new at having people win things to be on our show. People actually want to be on our show. We're excited about it. That's just something that's
they really want to be on our show.
They really like us.
They love us. Oh my God. Right. We're having fun though. And our guest today is special. I think that eventually he would have been on the show. I love Mike. Mike does a lot of amazing stuff. He definitely is a servant leader. He's the kind of guy that if you work with him, I shouldn't say for him because he doesn't make it feel that way. He makes it feel like you're working with him. So when you work with Mike, you tend to get encouraged. You tend to have a little bit more motivation. His team loves him. Everyone I've talked to that works with him loves Mike. They talk great and highly about this guy. So how can I not love a guy like that?
He's an atmosphere that we had the chance to be able to walk in.
Yeah, we did. We got to go up there and got to hang out. Yeah.
You feel the culture. You feel the love. But just having a conversation with Mike face to face just made my heart come alive. Those conversations that make your heart just get ablaze and on fire about the subjects that you're talking about. And it doesn't matter what you're talking about. It's with that person. So do us a quick favor. If there's people that that you like having conversations with, whether it's in social media land or it's right here on your telephonic device, go ahead and tag car guys, tag car gals. Let solutionaries know that we are brewing solutions, and we got a very special guest in the room today, and you might get the chance to win the next spot to be on the show. But I know we want to give away at least one shirt and one mug today. So tag a car guy, tag a car gal, get them in here, and let's get ready to brew some solutions.
Let's brew it.
Take a look at some of these messages from our sponsors, and let's get ready to brew. Tag, share, and tag, share, tag.
Tag.
And if you're just hanging out, just at least put a coffee mug emoji inside of the comment box.
I see a few people making comments right now. We appreciate you, Kelly, Sharika, and of course, Brian Norris.
See you in a moment. Okay, car guys and car gals, without further ado and without any further production pieces, we want to go ahead and let you see what got Mike to the cafe today. So we were trying to give away a couple things. We were trying to give away some coffee. Yeah. We were trying to make sure that we had, spot for some people to just show us whether or not the message is getting out there. They know what we're talking about. We have a key message that we want to make sure everybody knows about, and that's to apply 3 Fs so that you can keep growing, right? Rocking the Keep Growing shirt today. But we put this out there so that somebody could see if they want to come in and be on the show, hang out with us. We wanted to talk to some real car guys and car gals about what's going on in their world. We had some great entries. Some of them were literally out of this world, right? And other ones were just fantastic. Had some great classic cars in them. I mean, absolutely great entries. But Mike was able to pour his heart out. It was just a real moment that I had watching it. And after my wife watched it, she said, "Oh, he won. Yeah, the winner." And that I remember when you sent me a text. My wife says that Mike won. I was like, "Okay, cool. Yep, that's it. Mike won." So let me show you real quick, car guys and car gals, what it was that got him in here. And you guys can do this too for the next entry or the next contest that we do. Check this out.
Hey, what's up, Car Guy Cafe? Mike Higdon. I'm fortunate enough to work with Jake Bishop at Bob Hook Chevrolet in Louisville. And what am I passionate about? It's amazing. At 52, the passions are the same, but the purpose is different. So at 52, my passions for the car business and as a husband and as a father have definitely changed. I'm getting ready to be an empty nester. So my passion now is to make sure that I've equipped and taught my sons the right things as a young man before he heads out. The youngest heads out as an adult. And then obviously to be a good role model to the older kids. And as far as the husband goes, it's learning to adjust to those same things, getting ready to be an empty nester and how we spend our time. So I'm passionate about being a good father and a good husband. And in the car business, been doing it for over 30 years, and my passion has always been to make money and try to be the best that I can, but now it's definitely turning into a passion to help and bring the others up around me. So in order to do that, I have to grow every day, and hopefully I can leave this business with a good name and a legacy of helping others. And now my passion is all about serving and helping the guys underneath me grow so that they can be the future of the car business, but hopefully do it different than I did 30 years ago, because it's definitely changed and it's a lot more about serving now. So that's what my main passion now is, just to be a servant leader. So obviously in order to do that every day, I have to forgive, focus, and fly, and definitely got to keep growing.
Hey!
Oh my
that
God.
was so awesome.
That was amazing.
See why you won?
What a testimonial.
See
You know,
why you won?
folks, that's from the heart.
Yes.
You know, and you could do all this fancy video stuff. You could do this, but what people want is what he just dropped.
Yes.
People want real. People want to know who you are. It's like everything in life right now. Everything has become, excuse me, I got this mic too far away. Everything has become real now. Like, people don't want fake stuff. I talk about this before on our shows. When you watch a movie or a television show, when it looks fake, you don't even no one watches the show anymore. It has to have more realism. The CGI has become top notch because people, they won't, it's like watching an old scary movie. If you watch a scary movie from the 80s and 70s, you go, that's kind of whack. Right? Because it's not real. You see the fake blood, you see all these little, it doesn't even look right. But then you watch a show now, it almost looks like, oh my God, that's so real. Like, it's crazy. But that's what people are wanting because we have it. It's available. Now with social media, it got even more intense because us as individuals have to be real. People know when it's fake. That video showed how real Mike was. And I love that. And that's what made me draw even closer to him. That's when I already knew before that. But when I saw that video, it was like, yeah, I agree. His wife was right. Lou was right. That was the best one. And it was because of where it came from. All the other ones were great. Jake put a good one out there. We had Ron Gavrick. He did a great one. We also had Don Brady. He did an amazing one. There was a few other people that put out some really good ones. Jason Wood, there was a lot of good ones, but Mike's to me really hit home because I felt that was right up my alley. So man, we're excited to put him on the show.
Empty nester, got the focus on being a good father and a good husband, right?
Yep.
These are the people that we want to connect with because there's so much more than just knowing good techniques at doing your job.
Oh yeah.
Okay. There's so much more to that.
Absolutely.
I can be on as a fisherman, you can be on any boat, right? But you definitely want to be with people that are with you and connected to you and are going to pull the nets when it's time to pull the nets and are going to have deep, real conversations with you when it's time to have real, deep conversations with you, but are going to lead from the heart. And that's what this Solutionary does. That's what this car guy does. And we are going to stop building him up so much until we're
pumping him up.
Seeing him.
His head's probably like this right now, but he deserves it.
Car guys, do us a favor. Put a mug in the air and let's go ahead and make sure that we invite our friend, Mr. Mike Higdon. What's going on,
Good morning,
Mike?
fellas. Oh man,
What's up, brother? How are you?
Good. I was blushing a little bit. That was
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Man, we're happy to have you here, Mike. I know your time's valuable, so we appreciate you giving us a few of it. So, man, we're looking forward to doing this 5-liner with you folks. Once again, that whole intro wasn't just a show gimmick. It's truth. It comes from our heart too, just like his video came from his heart. An amazing person. Thank you for being here this morning, Mike. I can't wait to hit you with this, bro.
Yeah, we got to do
I
this.
know.
It's like we've already done it, right? We just did it together.
You just
The
hit me,
Forgive, Focus, and Fly, and you got to demonstrate to everybody. Did you hear that? I just went a little high. Anyway, you got to demonstrate to everybody what it's like when we're saying, "Hey, don't do it with both hands if you're driving." Right? Throw that one arm on it. Right? You did it right there. I mean, we talked about it, but you got to show it to everybody. Love it. but we're going to go ahead and apply 3 F's. And brother, I want to ask you, if you can break down the forgive, focus, and fly for us, explain to our listeners what it is that's all about and what that's meant to you and why we should be doing it. And we'll let you call the forgive, focus, and fly since you know how to do this, brother. Tell us about that.
Well, actually, you guys stopped by, and last time anybody's ran around our showroom was when you were here, Lou. So just want you, nobody has forgotten that energy that you had today. You stopped by. But obviously, I wear this bracelet every day, and I appreciate it because it's forgiveness is so important, especially in our business because it's a car guy show. So, and other things. But as a parent, spiritually forgiving yourself. But as a leader at work, how many times a day do I have to forgive myself?
Come on.
And remember when I was a pup, and if you hold on to that forgiveness as much time as we spend together in a dealership, you got to forgive because you can't focus if you're holding that inside of you. And when you do that, man, that's when you can fly. So for me, in all areas, it's all about forgive, focus, and fly. And definitely keep growing.
That's
growing.
I love it. Mike Crescent, you are officially the first guest to ever drop that and do it like that, bro. Bro, we appreciate that, man, and that's so right. That is the lifestyle, man, and you're living it and you're doing it, man, and you do it from not just at work, you do it at home too. And I know that right now, you do have your beautiful wife writing some comments in here, and she did write a really nice one here. I want to pull up really fast, and it was
the laughing face. No,
I love me some Mike.
Oh, get some.
She goes. She says she loved me some Mike. I like Car Guy Coffee podcast too, though. But I love Mike. We appreciate you, Angie. You're so awesome, and I'm glad that you're getting some physical therapy right now. I hope your recovery gets really quick here in the next few weeks, and I know it will. Stay positive out there. We appreciate you for supporting us too, but most importantly for supporting your husband, because without your support, I know he wouldn't be where he's at today. That's no doubt about it.
And we are excited that you're rolling now. All right. So let's go ahead and get this 5-liner rocking. I know that we are pumped up to get through this talk, but we're pumped up to get a great day going. There's so many big things that are happening at all of our stores right now. Yes. I mean, and it's not just our city, right? It's not just the things that are percolating around Kentuckiana. Things are permeating everywhere. The business is coming alive. You look outside and you can see the green coming up. Everything is coming alive. Springtime, the announcement is here. Daylight savings is now in the pocket, right? We are having more time in the sun. Light is being shined, and you are part of that. Again, you are now part of the Solutionary crew, officially on the Car Guy Coffee podcast, being 100% CGC approved. And now it's time for us to get a 5-liner from you.
All right.
Get ready, people. We're about to learn more about this amazing person. All right, Mike. So my first question is always the same question. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody wakes up, and there's a reason why you do what you do. What is your why? What makes you get up every day and do it? Well,
for sure, obviously, faith is definitely one. It's always faith and family. I feel like that's always the answer. I feel like the biggest things, though, is as I've grown older, man, and probably is the change of those things. And I've learned it's more about sacrifice. It used to be when I was younger, it was because my kids owed me because I provided. My wife owed me because I worked hard. God owed me something because I was doing the right things and I was changing my ways. But as I've gotten older, man, it's changed more to understanding the sacrifice that was made from all of them. From obviously the biggest sacrifice would be in my faith, but also I'm learning the sacrifice that my wife has made when it's rolling around now. The hours that we put in, the weekends that she missed, because Saturday for us is just another day. You know what I mean? Their friends are going camping and doing things. So I think learning and understanding the employees and the sacrifices that they're making. So it's still always faith and family and being a good leader, but it's more understanding now it's not about me. It's about understanding the sacrifice that everyone's made for me, from Christ to my family to the people that work for me. And that drives me because I feel like there's a sense of debt there. Debt I can't repay for sure. We'll never be able to repay. Just like you said, I couldn't do what I do without my wife taking care of the house and knowing that my kids are good and everything's good. You know, I couldn't do this and I couldn't be a good leader without that. So that's what makes the why.
I love
the reasons
that.
were there, but the why is different as you get older, different seasons.
That's it, man. And I absolutely love that answer, because it's from the heart. I love that because it's true. You know, the way we do things in business and the way we do things with our home life tend to blend together, you know. So if you're doing it right, because you're giving each equal love, but to have the support, like you said, with your wife, they lose their Saturdays with us. They do. You know, the average person out there has the weekend off. We don't. You know, while they're out camping, like you said, or doing whatever weekend activity, we're at work grinding away. But yet our women, they support us. Yeah. Or a man, whatever side it is, you know, if you're a woman working, it doesn't matter. But your spouse, your partner, they support you. When you have the right support system, makes it so much better. When they're not nagging on you, like, when are you gonna be home? What time's this? Why are you working late? You know, they understand. My wife knows. She doesn't. I don't even have to call her if I'm running late. She knows. She knows what I'm doing. She knows I'm not going to go out and do anything silly. I'm at work and I'm working hard. And I'm trying to make a living for not just for me, but it's more than me. Like you said, it's about my team. My team, they're sacrificing their weekend too. You know, I love how you said that. You know, that's a great way of putting it. They are sacrificing for me, for the whole mission, and their families too. You know, it keeps trickling down. Just like I feel like, you know, it's not just about us. Yeah, my wife struggles. She wants me to be home on weekends too, but she understands. But so do their wives and so do their husbands, right? They all feel the same way. So we have to understand and encourage and keep telling them it's going to be okay. Just keep doing your thing. And you know, and then when like I said, when the spouse or the partner is there and they support that, it makes it so much easier for you. And you're very lucky to have a woman like Angie. I know I'm lucky to have my wife. I know Lou is lucky to have his, and anybody else out there who has an amazing spouse. Kudos to you, you know, but you have to do your part too, or your wife or your spouse or your partner will not be there for you. So always do your part. Let them know how much you care. I know you do. And it all works itself out. But man, I love that, Mike. That's great. You know, you had Timothy Wilson down here saying, well said, Mike. And he's right. That's very well said. You know, there's a lot of great people. We got Kelly Bird in here saying, hey, my dude. You got Jake Bishop saying, yes, sir. He's put a few comments out here. You know, obviously your wife, she's putting out some, you know, amazing stuff out here. So she's loving it. We got Sharika. Sharika's been putting out a lot of great stuff. Pandemic is a great way to boost virtual machine. You know, passion drives our force. You know, that's 100% right. You know, and all these things. And I love it. We got Brian Norris. He's over here saying, buenos dias, solutionaries. Forgive, focus, fly. What's up, Brian? Appreciate you. We just talked with him this morning.
Where I was about to go was in line with Brian, and to speak of and connecting the dots between what our true understanding of success is. And when you discuss your wife and we discuss our wives, it's very easy and it's almost cliche. It's very simple to say, yes, we owe it all to our spouse. Oh, right-a-roo, right? That's definitely the right thing to say. But there's something different when you understand, right? Good job, buddy. You're right. There's something different when you start to actually have hard conversations, have really tough talks about the things that are happening, you are going through, and you are allowing each other to be able to prop each other up, leaning into each other, right? Kind of like Bubba Gump. Or Bubba and Forrest, right? You lean up against me, I'm gonna lean up against you, so we don't have to sleep with our head in the mud, right? and that's what ends up happening. We lean up against each other to hold and prop each other up, so that we don't end up with our heads in the mud. We don't end up drowning out in the dirt around us, the rain around us, the things that are pulling each other down, because there's enough to pull us down. There's enough to try to break us down. It's another thing when we have the person that we trust most that we can confide in and say, hey, we are trying to learn. We have learned a lot of things. And guess what? My why was, like you said, was one thing. It's evolved and it's maybe changed over time. But a lot of times you go through things, and then by the time you get to the end of it, you end up saying, that's why. Oh, that's why we're doing this. Oh, that's why we went through that, right? and sometimes those moments where forgiveness comes into a relationship and a newfound focus gets ironed out together, those things help to propel you in everything that you do. Now you're skipping because your relationship's all good. You're skipping inside of your work business because, you know, work, you're not defined by that anymore. You have a great solid relationship at home that you don't have to prove yourself to be worthy of.
Right.
And it makes sure that you can go do in confidence your mission, and you do it with joy. You do it with saying thankful. It's like the military guy that's deployed, right? My brother just came back last night. By the way, everybody, my brother came back last night.
Back to Cali.
He's back in Cali.
He's back in Cali.
Right?
Awesome.
But that one that holds on to that one little still picture of their family, and they keep that in their forefront. You know, I'm out here doing this because of this. This might be the only thing that's really my own personal stuff, but this one person that I get to look at every night, I'm doing this for them. That child, right? Your why starts to evolve. But when you connect those dots between the husband and the wife inside of the house, and then that relationship with the children, and then that relationship turns into a new legacy gets built, then your business is walking upright because you're confident, brother. There's no better confidence to be in, right? You get to sit at your desk making deals happen and not defined by the deals happening. You know what I mean? It's the love you and your wife have together. That's just such a great example for so many people. Brian Norris is speaking some great stuff. For those of you that don't know about him and what solutions he has for your dealership, you got to reach out to Brian. Didn't mean to make this turn into that, but there's some great people that are doing some fundamental stuff that's designed by heaven. Put first things first, folks. If you put the first cornerstone where it's supposed to be, everything else will line up. But if number one is not number one, nothing else is in order. Nothing else is in line if number one isn't sitting where it belongs. So again, I honor that incredible drop in there, and hopefully you have more to say on that. I know that we sat there and just took the microphone, and that's kind of what we do sometimes. But brother, I want to say thank you so much for being that kind of an example to us. We honor that. But I also want to know, man, what got you into the car business?
Actually, my dad was in the car business. He was a used car manager. I don't know how long y'all have been around here, but it's a place called Dodge World years ago. Great name. No, I'm just kidding. That place was something else. But I worked in the detail shop, and actually I sold my first car when I was 12 because he actually owned a little independent dealership. So that was just a couple years ago when I was 12. But so growing up in the car business, I worked in the detail shop. So when I was graduating high school, I was like, you know what, man, I really enjoyed the company and the camaraderie these guys had. I just enjoyed seeing it. And I thought they must have made lots of money because they enjoyed giving it to each other during poker games that I watched them play all the time. So I'm like, these guys got to be making money because they keep giving it to each other. I was just a kid. But anyway, so from there, I literally got out of high school. Luckily, I had known a lot of people in the area because of my dad being in the business. So it wasn't too hard for me to get into it. And then once I realized and watched my friends going to school, then slowly getting out and seeing what they were doing, I'm like, man, okay, I have such a great opportunity. I don't have any school debt. I can make basically what I want, and probably I'm already making more than them. And this is just a really good opportunity. And this is probably what I'll do forever. And I really enjoyed it. So, and I enjoy the people. That's the main thing. But back then, obviously, it was about the money, really, and the opportunities.
Yes. I know what you mean. Like when I've been in this business for right around 20 years. When I first got in, it was a little bit different. It was starting to change, but it was different. We were still hammer closers. We were still like whatever it took, right? You were putting people in cars. You didn't care. You were just and it was about that bottom dollar. It wasn't about the people. So back then it was profits over people. Now it's people over profits. Because if you take care of your people, not just the people who work for you, but your customers and everyone else, if you do that and you're just that type of person, man, does your business amplify? Man, does your customer service become better? Man, does the referrals become great? The follow-ups, everything that you need in this business to be successful without having to put the extra work, all that crazy extra work in every single month. It gets easier if you just do the things that you're supposed to do. It gets easier when you put people over profits, when you put relationships over revenue, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's why when you mentioned in your video, it was different. Your why for the business, it changed. And it changed for all of us. And we realized that. I think deep down in our heart, we knew that it needed to change because it was kind of like, I was good. I was really good at being a hammer closer, but I never felt like it always felt kind of shady. Like I felt like any moment I can go to jail. I you know what I mean, Mike?
Oh, I sleep so much better now.
Oh, bro.
For the past few years, but
100%.
And those were fun. I think there was a lot of learned a lot of things. That still some of that old stuff is still good to know because there was some great people before us that's done this. Absolutely. Some of those things are still important, but it's just the way you look at it, I think, and the way you come at people and the way when instead of loading people's lips now, as we call it in car business, when they come to the desk, it's more about listening to the salesperson that's been there for an hour and a half with the person. Because I remember back in the day, it'd be like, you go to the desk and they tell you something totally different. You're like, man, I've been with this guy for like 2 hours. I kind of know a little bit of it. And now it's being more intentional and listening to them And the key is knowing what to listen to, but still being understanding enough about the business to some things you have to let go because you know it's just a part of the process and you can't get caught up in it, but you can listen to what they're saying and then not just tell them what to say, but use their feelings and what they've learned and send them back that way.
And you're saying that's so right.
There's an art in that, and especially
There
when
is.
you're sitting inside of your posture. Many people don't really get until they've sat inside of your desk or they've sat inside of a managerial position inside of a dealership to understand all of the moving parts of emotion, of sensible thoughts, right? There's a lot of money being spent. There's a lot of options that are out there. There's a lot of technology that's present, right? And then you have personalities, which then throws everything crazy, right? You have fear, you have expenses. There's so much that goes on in that moment, and you're trying to relay a message to one person that has a way of thinking and a way of doing things, your salesperson, and trying to connect that to somebody else that has a whole other way of doing life. And you met them 30 minutes ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just now came into your world and you're giving them some serious, hardcore advice that sometimes could be scathing. Sometimes it could be just getting real, right? Sometimes they don't have somebody poking at them in that way, right? They're at the car dealership. That's the doctor's office for their transportation problem, right? That's where they're going to get that part healed. And you're directing that word and those verbiage and trying to make sure that the person you're talking to isn't losing their mind and freaking out because the customer's worried. I mean, I know you've probably seen it many times, the fear on the salesperson's face because the customer said X, Y, and Z, and you're like, oh, that's nothing. Whatever. Just say this and it's over. You know what I mean? And it's just connecting to people. And because of the great connector that you are, you're finding a way to see life coming out of your people. And I know you have some great success stories. You have Jake Bishop inside of the room with you on a daily basis, which is a big ball of energy that we definitely love. And you seeing the success inside of their lives as they're buying homes, as they're seeing their families grow.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
All of that goes on. That is so rewarding. But the key is that you're always staying steady. You're a man that works diligently with your church body, right? You're very, very active inside of that.
Yes,
they pull a lot from you on it, and you sow a lot, and that's part of why you have breath in you, right? You're bringing up people on all levels. You're helping them on their IQ. You're building them up mentally, but you're also increasing their spiritual IQ. You're taking them to the next level and making that a regular way of life, and that's something that we honor. But we also want to encourage other people. Check that out. If you're wanting to know how to speak and deal with people on a different level, practice praying for them before you have something to say for them. That's the thing that I hold very dear to my heart when I look at my guys and I talk about their goals and saying, I pray about your goals. The things you tell me about, I talk to God about. I believe that these things are going to happen for your family that you want. And I am here on that mission to do so. So don't get in my way because I'm here to do it. You know what I mean? Let's make this stuff work. But I value that, brother. I mean, that's just something that I connect with you on. But that conversation that we had that day, we weren't running around the dealership throwing bracelets all over the place and coffee. It was just fun, but we had a great conversation. Loved it that day.
It was a great time.
I can't wait to have some more of those.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, and it's a beautiful thing. You know, you're a mentor to your people. You know, you're trying to help and you're trying to coach them up on not just business, but, you know, home life, because it takes a balanced life to have a good career in this business. Because if your home life is suffering, it's tough to work. It really is, because then you don't want to be there. And it's Saturdays really suck at that point. Right. So to have a balanced life, taking care of yourself, taking care of your spouse, your kids, whatever it is, when you're not there, you have to give them the same energy. And you do a great job with that. But I'm sure there's been people along the way who's helped you, been mentors for you. So my question for you, the third question that I'm going to ask you today, it's who's been your greatest mentor coming up in this business?
For me, it would have to be Don Sloan. And I think actually we talked that day that you were here, and you guys know him. But, you know, back in the day, you used to, when you got mad at somebody, you could just say, all right, you know what, I quit. You pick up the phone and say, hey, come bring me a demo, man. I just quit my job. And they would deliver a demo to you if you knew enough people. So it was crazy. But finally, after doing that, traveling, I went to work with Mr. Sloan as a salesperson. And I would always was one that I just couldn't sit. I didn't like sitting. So I would always do the extras, like stock in the used cars when they came in and scrape the auction stickers off. And this is a little bit of a word of advice for people out there that in the car business that think those things aren't their job and nobody's paying attention. But I did little stuff like that constantly. And I was always blessed because every time I was out there doing it, I caught a customer.
Yep.
So one day he's like, you know what, Mike, you work really hard. And I didn't even know he was paying attention. So he asked me in the middle of the month to help the guy that was the used car manager. We were having a bad month. He said, you're really good at talking to the people and closing. He doesn't like that part. So I want you to help close the deals and just let him buy the cars and do that part. Long story short, we doubled the business the last 2 weeks. I thought that would be a really good opportunity for both of us. Came in the beginning of the month and said, man, so-and-so, I won't say his name, this is going to be a good opportunity. 10 minutes later, he comes walking out and Mr. Sloan had let him go and promoted me to used car manager. But he was, you guys have met him, and he was so much different than what I grew up with in the car business. I mean, suit and tie every day, but respectable. And he knew the answer before he asked you a question. So you had to be on your toes, and he wanted it done right, but he wanted you to work hard and he wanted you to do your job. And so basically for years, I was used car manager and GSM and general manager for him for years. So man, he taught me so much about being a good person and a good car guy, but working hard and earning it. So
that's it. And that's exactly when I think of Don Sloan, that's exactly what I think of. A hardworking, sharp dressed man who has mad respect. He's like a CEO. He's got that very business-esque thing about him. He's very to the point. Like you said, it's black and white. There is no gray. You either do it, you know it, or you don't know it. And he will do everything he can. If he sees you put that work ethic, which obviously he did, and that's beautiful that he did notice that, he's gonna make sure that he's in the right spot. He's gonna put people where they need to be. If the person's not doing what they're supposed to do, as you can see, 2 weeks later, they're gonna be gone. And it's not personal, it's business. It's just the way it works. If your numbers are lacking, yet somebody you threw in another recipe and another piece of seasoning into this recipe, and that seasoning changed it all up, doubled the business, I think it was time to make a change, and you did it with the right thing. But I could tell you, your probably biggest difference there was probably your attitude. And that's 99% of it. You would put the extra work in without expecting anything for it because you knew what it does. You know that, faith without works is dead, right? And you know that, and that's why you did that. And I tell you, man, I'm impressed by that. That's a really cool story, actually. And
it's funny. I just to throw in because you said faith without works. I mean, but what's funny is there was a guy that was a salesman there, and he had a little church with like 5 people in it. And he's like, and back then I was kind of a typical car guy, like I grew up. And he's like, God's wanting to do some things in your life, Mike. And I look at him like, really? I don't think you know me very well. I don't think God's wanting to do anything in my life. I think I need to do some things with my life. But anyway, that was like that same time that Mr. Sloan done that. And when it happened, I was like, okay, I didn't feel like I deserved to be promoted like that. That wasn't why I was doing it. And then after that, it's like subprime got really big in 01 and things clicked and we did the numbers. But when I looked back, every time I look back, I'm like, and then I met my wife and I'm like, okay, God is doing something in my life because I had nothing to do with any of this. And as I looked back quickly, and then obviously I accepted Christ and became saved. But it was just so funny how that faith and works all was together. But it was all because one guy said something. And then I witnessed it as I was going. I didn't even realize what it was. But
that's beautiful.
Pretty amazing.
It is amazing. Very amazing.
Especially
that's a great testimony.
Your path in, just like you said earlier, sometimes you get to the other side of something and you're like, oh, that's why I had to go through that. That's why I learned that lesson. That's why I struggled this way, or that's why I had this problem, right? So many people do that. That is the common, stiff arm that most people say is, man, God don't want nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a X, Y, and Z, a Phil Flam Flarmer, whatever. Whatever it is. And that's such a lie that we believe for some reason. But that permeates into many things. So like we were saying earlier, you walk confidently inside of your career because of how at core you are identified and loved, right? The love that you and your wife have, that's just your love. You don't compromise that. That's not going to change. She's going to love you in your worst moment because she accepted that responsibility, and going to love you in your best moment. You're going to do the same. That correlates to everything else, and you keep finding a way to grow. But then when you get to the other side, you're like, wow, I went through all of this. I learned all of these lessons, and I don't know that I would have gone the same way if I would have been able to plan it. But I'm so thankful for that lesson. I'm so thankful for that hard road that I had to deal with. And I'm so thankful that I learned, just like there's a lot of great things that come from the car business. We're a legacy of great, smart men, right?
Yes.
The smart men and women that have built up a great, great industry. And there's so many things that keep growing and keep evolving. We are becoming more transparent, not just because we're saying that's the word of the hour in the auto industry, but it's because technology has made us have to escalate to that level. It's just made it that way. Again, everybody can be a WebMD now. Everybody knows what's wrong with them before they meet the doctor and waiting for the doctor to line up with what they read, right? It's the same thing with buying a car. People are going through the same thing. And you're evolving in that. You're molding people inside of that. And that's something that we honor. And we are so thankful that there's people that are like you that are taking their faith and removing all of the fear. A lot of times, the hardest thing we have to do is get people to believe that they can do the job that we believe they can do.
Right. Yes,
if
sir.
they can believe it, they can achieve it.
That's right. Somebody said that before. I heard that.
I think that's a quote from somewhere.
Somebody said that. So you're instilling that faith in them, but it comes from a true core. It's not, I want to make sure that I have the nicest boat, the nicest car, the nicest house. I want all these things. That's not what you're instilling inside of your guys.
Right.
You've shifted it into a faith direction. You're leading with love. And that's something that we admire, but that's the solutionary way. That's brewing some solutions. But inside of that, you've been hit with a lot of challenges.
Yes, absolutely.
So what would you say has been the hardest lesson that you've had to learn in your automotive career in building up to where it is that you are now?
Yes.
Probably for me, just because of the age, I guess, because we're getting ready to turn 54, was the whole shift was the technology shift. Honestly, was the biggest challenge. But early, I realized, okay, this is what it's going to be. And I made a decision years ago. This is what I was going to do probably for the rest of my life. And just like being on the show, even something like this isn't something I would have done a few years, but just V-Auto and all the different things and people coming in and having all the information. And I don't need this to tell me which car to buy. I can do this. But honestly, just struggling. But once I got past myself and bought into it and seen that, okay, this is what it's going to be, and I've still got to work for a few years, so I better buy in. And there was a lot of guys my age that did not buy in, that were like, you know what, I don't need CRMs, and I don't need this, I don't need that, and they're retired, and they're just got out of the business because they just couldn't move with the changes. And I'm thankful. It was a struggle to get there, and it took me years before I started believing and understanding that it works. It's not something that's against me. It's going to help me. And just because the customer knows the rate and what their trade's worth when they come in, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Actually, it's better, and it makes it easier because they can't tell me it's 1% because I know they've seen it's 5%. You know what I mean? Or their trade's worth 20 because they owe 20. They know it's worth 10. So I don't have to justify it. I just have to make them understand that I already know what they know, and we're just sharing information together. That's all. So that was a struggle.
Because what they want to buy from today's world, and I think that it's going to become more and more, they want to buy from people they know, people they trust. I mean, I think it's always been that way, but the thing is that the more we can be transparent, I know we're using that word a lot, but it's just being clear to people and being honest. Technology has brought that to us.
Yes.
At first, I was the same way, Mike. I was really resistant to it. I was like, I'm going to keep it old school. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it that way. But I realized that the more honest and more open that I was with my clients, for one, and don't take this the wrong way, clients, they paid more because they loved the service. They didn't bicker over the payment or the price so much because they were getting better service than anyone everybody they go and see just threw shade at them. They're like, bull crap. And then they try to sell them instead of being like, honesty. And here's what I can do for you.
Even the hard truths, right? Even when you're hitting them with the, hey, you're not going to like this. And I really only maybe have 15
the biggest
minutes
thing
to talk to you in the rest of your life. But wow, here's some truth, right?
Yeah. I mean, just being honest. So how crazy is that?
Yeah. Because I know a lot of times sales guys, they're like, well, I don't know what to say. What do you want me to say? And it's like, you know what? There's something inside of you that you know what you want to say. Like, you need to say dude, you can't afford, this isn't the right truck for you, but you try to think of how to get around that. Say what you feel, and they will know that you're coming from the heart. You're really trying to help them, and they'll listen to you, but you don't need trickery. Just speak what you feel. A lot of times what you know what to say, you're just afraid to say it because you don't want to offend them, but really you're helping them. You're not offending them. So yeah,
that is, I love that.
So
it's
true.
Exactly right, folks. Listen to what he just said. It's true. A lot of times what we know what to say, but we're too afraid to tell them because we feel like we're going to hurt their feelings. We feel like we're going to make them feel uncomfortable, but yet all it's going to do is take weight off your shoulder, take all that off yours, take it off of theirs, because they know what's really going on. They don't have to hope and speculate. They know exactly where they're at. But when you keep giving them bullcrap and making it sound like it's all roses and candy, it's not always, and the thing is, but at the end of it, it is. When you are finally able to get to a playing ground that's level and everybody understands where they're at, that they can't leave in that 4x4, 4-door truck today, that they're going to have to probably leave in a 4-door sedan in order to get their credit established. You got to paint a picture sometimes. That picture sometimes, it's not unhonest, it's truthful. Listen, buddy, we all had to crawl before we walk. As children, we had to do it. When I first bought cars, I couldn't go out and buy the most beautiful vehicle I wanted. I wanted to own Porsches and all that stuff. I still never owned a Porsche yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about that. It's about educating the customer. It's about telling them the right path, how they can save the most amount of money, and how they could build their credit without spending too much money or getting themselves too deep in debt and they can't afford it and it becomes a repo. And then what was the whole point? Right. And that's not what we want. We want customers to be able to make payments. We want them to be able to come back and get better interest rates and be able to buy the vehicle that they dream of, right? But we got to educate them. You need more job time. You need to make about $5 more per hour. You need to, there's so many things that we can do as car buying coaches. We can teach these people that. We can educate them and encourage them to grow. And man, I love that you brought that kind of stuff up and learning that and knowing that the world is different and understanding that that was something that you had to overcome. That's probably my biggest thing I had to overcome too over the last, handful of years, because I had to change the way I thought. But when I did, like you said, wow, what blessings. We're having our record right now at our store. We're getting ready to crush it this month. And it's all because we're doing it the right way. And we've been doing it for a long time. And it just eventually those seeds that you plant, you will be able to harvest. Yes, sir. And when you get that fruit, it's so lovely and it tastes so good. And we're eating that fruit right now. So, man, appreciate that, Mike. That's great stuff, bro.
I mean, speaking of fruit, did you guys know that a coffee bean is like a cherry, and then there's the coffee bean in it? Just side note on coffee.
In case you guys didn't know.
In case you didn't know, we're talking about growing great fruit, and it's all about being faithful to sow those seeds, folks, and then they grow into things that blossom, and at core have something else of value that you can sow in and create something even better for the future. And Mike is being faithful with that. And sometimes it is a great reward to have one piece of fruit, and we can gobble up all the seeds that are in it, or we can be aware that there are still potential seeds for more fruit to come if we take the little pieces out, put them inside of something, put them into the ground with a little bit of dirt around it, pour
some water,
see more fruit coming. And that's what you're doing with the people around you. That's what you're doing with your business. That's what we're doing in this industry. We're changing the game.
That's it, man. And sometimes you're going to plant seeds, they're going to harvest quick. Sometimes you're going to plant seeds, it's going to take years before you get any of that harvest. It's okay, but you need to plant them and you need to keep watering them and you need to keep fertilizing it. You need to encourage it and grow it. It's everything like that works in life. Man, I love that, Mike. So I got to ask you, brother, this is going to be the last question of the day.
All right.
Number 5. Man, you've been doing this a long time. You've touched a lot of people, customers, employees, co-workers, friends, owners. You've done it all. Vendors, they all love you. My question for you is, since you've been doing all this, what's been your greatest reward? What has been the greatest thing that you've got from all this?
Probably the relationships that I've built with salespeople, and more recently, but also probably as I've grown and gotten to this place where we are now, and we keep throwing the word transparency, but with all those things, man, it's probably just understanding that and living that and living my faith really has made my home life so much better. I mean, I don't have to go home and that's a big struggle for us as we go home and a stressful day or a bad day or the things that we used to have to say and the things that we did to sell a car. You would go home and you would just want to sit, I just want to sit outside and chill. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just feel bad. And then I wouldn't sleep good and now I'm tired the next day and I'm not exercising. I'm not doing anything because I don't feel like it because I don't enjoy what I'm doing. But really just it's learning to lead, be more of a servant leader in all areas, has really pushed me that way. And I think the car business has pushed me to that. Really, my faith first has pushed me that way. But when you can tie them together, when faith and the way the car business is changing are tying together, because we couldn't say these things years ago. You wouldn't talk about your faith, other than the one guy that said something to me. But now you can do that, and it's such a difference. And I guess that growth over the last year or two in all areas has been from the car business, because it's changed. And it's not changed everywhere. You guys are doing it right. A lot of people are doing it right, but there's still those places. And I'm just so thankful that I'm at a place where I can be me. We can open a manager's meeting in prayer. You know what I mean?
What I'm talking about.
I think that's what it is. I really do. I think that's been my biggest blessing, and it's come in the last couple of years. So
That's beautiful, man.
yeah,
That I'm honored to be able to
I
say
love that.
is that we were able to have our great news meeting. This was this Monday, our great news meeting with all the salespeople, and we were missing one. And I was getting messages while I was in the middle of hosting or training and doing what we were doing. So I wasn't really checking to see what was going on. One of the sales guys popped out real quick because it was one of our salespeople that were calling us. And I don't know if you even know this. You might know this. Yeah, you do know this because you're on that thread. But a great friend of ours, a great salesperson, been selling on our floor for
Theo?
No, talking about Captain Clay.
Gotcha.
He had a stroke, and he's getting on the road to recovery now. But as that all happened and we came out of our great news meeting, and I'm getting everything pumped up, right? Trying to correlate all the things that are going on. They were ready in an instant to understand the gravity of the situation that their brother was going through, come together and immediately posture themselves. And we just, there was no questions asked. Everybody's heart was on end, prepared to pray, prepared to go right in, right there to step in the gap for our brother. And to our delight, of course, we're hearing some good news of his recovery. Mine's all there. You're hearing about the path that he's going to have to be on, but we're so grateful. Captain Clay, going to make sure that I share this episode with you. We love you. We're praying for you. We're believing for you.
Love
all.
you, Captain Clay.
For those of you that are in agreement and have a prayer language yourself, make sure that you use it. Clay Norris is an incredible car guy. Been selling for about 30 years. The most steady Eddie guy on my floor, and we are so thankful for him. We call him Captain Clay because he is a little bit of a fisherman, and but he's a great car guy. But our guys were able to stop right then and there and join in, touch the throne of heaven on his behalf, and then step away from that moment and go do their very best in what it is that they do to honor the life and the moment that they have to do it with. And that is part of the culture that we're trying to create, but we've created it. Now we're trying to make sure we permeate it, right? Connect with other people like you, just like we're doing right now, and say, hey, keep saying that. Go ahead and take that guy around the side. Ask them what they're going through. Ask them if you can pray with them. Go ahead, engage in those things with their life. Ask them what's happening. Care about your people. If you lay yourself out there and make sure that people know how committed you are, that you care about them, they will let you lead them where it is that you're truly at heart trying to go. And they don't even have to understand where you're going yet. So many times we get so caught up in trying to explain to everybody everything about what we're trying to do. Instead of just say, hey, look, you trust me, you love me, follow me. Let's go. You know, when the disciples followed Jesus, all he said is, come on, follow me. Yeah. Like, what are we going to go do? We're going to go change the world. Let's go. We're going to go fish men. What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Right. Oh, okay. Well, just follow me. Oh, okay. Well, cool. I'm with it. You know what I mean? That's what we're doing.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So I'm just excited about that.
I had real quick say that, but I remember one year I didn't have, of course, when you have 15 salespeople, wanted to get them all something for Christmas. I really couldn't afford to buy them all anything. It's like, what would I buy them anyway? So my choice was right before Christmas. I got them all in the showroom and we held hands. First time this had happened. This was at Sloan, actually. But I had the fact that I went around the room and I literally prayed for each one of them. But the fact that I knew something about each of them, whether it was a sick kid or they were looking to buy a house, but each one individually, something specific to them in a prayer, and went around the room and did that. And honestly, I still have people to this day, and that was 15 years ago, that'll come up and say, dude, I still remember that time you prayed for me. Guess what? We're still in that house, or my kid's doing good. So, I mean, that was kind of going with what you said. That was powerful. And
That's
the
exactly
best gift
going
I could
with
have
what he
given, and it cost one person everything and cost me nothing. So yeah.
Come on.
Whoa.
Yes, sir.
I mean, yeah, get that claps going on that one. One person, everything, and cost you nothing.
Yeah.
Love that.
Wow.
It did. And he said it right on. So perfect. And that was the best gift. I mean, that's, gosh bless it. That's like better than any gift I've ever given. And I love that you've done that, man. And that's powerful that people remember that. The power of prayer, the power of love. It's the power of love.
It is. You're right.
Power of love.
And that's
Man.
how leaders are needing to lead now. Yeah. Stop leading with fear, right? I mean, we can say this all day, and a lot of times the people that are watching us are not the stick in the muds. You know what I mean? They're not the ones that are trying to stay inside of a mud pit with their face in the mud, right? They are people that are looking up. Where you gaze is where you're going to go. You will go where you gaze. So if you keep your head up to where your help comes from, right? If you keep yourself focused on where it is that you want to fly, those that are following you can't help but get in line. If you're not distracted by the things that are below you, if you're not scared of the things that are below you or identified by the things that are below you, guess what's going to happen? The people around you are going to act the same way. And then you'll have people that are go through what you're talking about. And we got a fresh guy. I got a new guy on my floors. We call him Jamming with Jeremy, right? First month in the business, made a whole lot of money last month, and is looking at me like, what just happened?
He is
I just got Bob hooked right now. He just got
hooked, man. He is hooked in the business now.
Industry, right? It got him pulled in. But what he was most thankful and most valuable for was how the team rallied around him, got together with him, and he was able to start building a culture and step in the gap for our friends. Know that somebody's praying for him specifically, but know that he can join in engaging inside of that for other people, and then do this really easy job to him from where it was that he was before, right?
Right.
Come to here and see professional grade money start showing up. It is a great testament to what this business is, but to the life path that he chose, and you're leading people down that road. And that's exciting to all of us, but we encourage you all, lead with love and faith over fear, people over profits, relationship over revenue. That's what we do.
That's it. Love.
Get it.
And another one, right? It's true. You know, when we get together with somebody like Mike and we get to talk about being a servant leader and love and caring and praying and doing all those things that make people around you and yourself feel great. What's so wrong with that, folks? You know, join in, enjoy it. It feels wonderful when everybody is running together and the engine is just purring and everyone's just having a good time, smiling, encouraging, loving. There is competition at dealerships, don't get me wrong, but it should be friendly competition. People shouldn't be rolling each other. If you're in the car business, you know what I mean. You shouldn't be rolling each other. You should be taking care of each other. You should be making sure that everyone is happy. And it all starts with the leader, somebody like Mike. Somebody out there showing the way, showing that you can lead with love, not with hate. You can lead with good words, not with hateful words. You can do so many things, man. And Mike's doing it, and he's doing it so great. That is why he is Car Guy Coffee.
Oh,
you know what's up.
Thank you, guys.
You are 100%
CGC
approved. Boom.
Thank you so much.
I was hoping I'd get that sign, man. No.
Well, you got it, brother. We appreciate you.
you.
Folks, if you guys don't know Mike, reach out to him, talk to him, encourage him. He's doing some amazing stuff. If you need a little bit of tips, holler at him. I promise you, he'll be happy to pass on what he does with his team.
Yeah, if you're in the Kentuckiana area.
That's the thing about people like us and Mike.
Out there.
The more we give, the more we get, and we know that, man. And there's so many amazing people out there. I appreciate you. I love everyone that came in today. You had so many people just showing love to you this morning, Mike. Your wife, you got friends, you got co-workers, you have
my preacher was in there. I see.
Hey,
is that right? Awesome. Even your preacher,
yes.
And then Jenna, Ahern, I mean, wow, how cool is that? She was in here. Wow, that's neat. I love Jenna. She's awesome. She does some amazing stuff out there. Wow. Yeah. Guardian Angel or Guardian Owl, is that what it is?
Guardian Owl? Yeah. Guardian Owl.
Yeah, she's killing it, man. I love what she does. She's amazing. Thanks for being here this morning. Well, folks, we had a great time. Mike, I hope you had a good time like we did.
I did. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
Awesome.
Man.
Well, you guys know what has to happen here. Just like a nice sip of Car Guy coffee, this might be the beat. This might be the sound that's inside of your head. But we want to make sure that we leave here with some encouragement. So get that inside of your cup. Get a little vibe. Get a little snap going. Get a little foot tap happening. Get your head nodding. Get a little sipping it, right? Whatever has to happen for you to get your day moving and grooving, folks, we want to make sure that you are doing it. You can get so many great nuggets, so many great brews by going to carguycoffee.com.
Yes.
Brewing with the Solutionaries. This week we are brewing with Michael Cirillo. We are making sure that you are getting some of the goodness that he's cooking up for you all. But today we've enjoyed Mike Higdon being in the room with us.
Yes, sir.
This is Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And this is Fredlin Arts, the subprime hero.
And we have been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. All you solutionaries out there, keep doing what you do, and let's brew. Thank you so much, Michael. We appreciate you. Good day, everybody. Make something big happen. Thank you to all of our partners and friends. We love you all. We love you all. We love you all.
Love,
Have a
love,
great
love.
day. Mike, we want to talk to you in the back right after this. We love you all. We appreciate you all and excited for us to have an incredible day. Hey, share this around. Make sure that people get some of this. That was a great brew. Really
Wonderful
love mine.
brew. Man, folks, this will be on a replay again. We'll also have this dropped as a podcast here in the next few weeks. Do not miss this, man. Mike dropped some beautiful stuff from the heart, just like the video he entered to get on the show.
That's right.
Yes, man. Loved it. Great show.
Love you all.
I'm
Have a
pumped
great
up,
day.
positive, and productive right now. Let's go.
Go get you some of that. Love you all. Forgive, focus, fly, and
Keep
growing.
going. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.